Hey everyone, back with another video to help guide your way through our most current discussion forum, 15.3, about riots that are happening in Ferguson and in Baltimore and in many other cities in the United States. And so I'm going to start right here with the directions. I want you to pay attention to the Oxford Dictionary's definition of the word riot, a quote unquote violent disturbance of the peace by a crowd. And so we know that certainly violence can happen, particularly interpersonal violence, can happen during a civil unrest or a civil disobedience. But I want you to focus on the concept of the assumption that peace was something that was disturbed as a direct result of this violence. And so I want to focus on this idea that sometimes when we name something a riot, we imply that the place within which a riot is happening was actually peaceful before. And so I want to explore that a little bit in this discussion, and I want to use last week's curriculum as an example before you jump into Ferguson and Baltimore. Last week, I hope that you had a chance to watch the film Sa-i-gu that documented the quote-unquote Los Angeles riots through the lens of Korean women grocery store owners. And so the riot in some cases, was thought to be a response to the Rodney King verdict, a caught on camera beating of Rodney King, which resulted in the acquittal of multiple LA Police Department officers. And a lot of people kind of thought initially that people were angry at the verdict, which people were, but that the verdict itself was the only reason why people were actually angry, frustrated, and, right, began quote unquote rioting. And so if we explore the video a little bit more, we can kind of see that this particular quote unquote riot was informed by a lot of historical conditions in which the Rodney King verdict may have maybe stoked the flame. We're thinking about things like housing, jobs, education, the reduction of the public state, the deindustrialization of the manufacturing sector, and, right, in some cases, right, renewed immigration policy, which informed the movement of new immigrant groups coming in to impoverished places where you have Korean Americans replace Jewish Americans in the particular market of grocery stores. And so, if we're kind of informed by the ways that the Los Angeles riot happened, we also kind of saw that there wasn't a strong state response to trying to really change relationships in the neighborhoods. It was really trying to quarantine the violence and then letting Black and Korean folks fight it out. And the result was that most people remember the LA riots as a Black Korean conflict, as opposed to the Rodney King verdict, or as opposed to the historical abandonment of South Los Angeles. And so, if we come back here, I want you to kind of think about some of the historical conditions that may inform the conditions in which Baltimore and Ferguson are happening. And when we kind of think about people like Freddie Gray and Michael Brown, certainly people are protesting these individual cases of police violence, police murder, but certainly there are also things that are informing the abandonment of these communities before. And those are some of the things that I want to explore. So let's go back to the modules right here. And there's one article that I really want you to focus on. I want you to focus on this Washington Post article that's provided as a PDF. Let me just get down here to Module 15. And I want you to check out, from Ferguson to Baltimore, the consequences of government-sponsored segregation. And so this will really help answer the question as to how some of the historical conditions are shaping the anger and the frustration, the feelings, but also the actual material conditions of abandonment in neighborhoods like Ferguson and in cities like Baltimore. I also want you to take a look at this really short video clip, the militarization of the police. Let me click on this, and I want you to also kind of think about the ways in which riots or civil unrest or civil disobedience is responded to. And in particular, something is new that's happening that didn't necessarily happen in Los Angeles. The way that people have been responding to Ferguson and Baltimore and other cities in which people are protesting is now with a police force that looks much more like a military. And I want you to kind of read and think about this oath of enlistment for the military service. I, your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And so, this is something that I think is very interesting about the ways that relationships between communities and police have changed. In many ways, this can inform the ways in which Michael Brown and Freddie Gray and multiple other people have now kind of interfaced with police. But I want you to try to include this in your response too, right? In what ways is the militarization of the police also a really strong component of understanding the ways that riots happen, but also the way that riots are responded to, and in turn, the ways in which the people who are doing the rioting are represented? So I'm gonna leave you with that. Get in there, post 5 points. We're almost done this semester. Good luck, and I'll see you in the forum.